Viva Miller. All right, what have we got for you today, guys? We've got our top 10 power rankings. Can your boy Jack sneak in? We'll know in about a minute. All right, guys. We're just going to go through the power rankings. At the end, we're going to wrap up the weekend, kind of do a few honourable mentions and some dishonourable mentions for a few lads. But let's not mess about. Let's get straight into your top 10. And at number 10, he has gotten in. He's snuck himself in there. Tough start to the season, but he's finally made it. Number 10, Jack the Thriller Miller, Viva Miller. Incredible weekend for him. He was kind of emotional at the end and stuff like that. Fair enough, he's had a tough year. He was supposed to be the top guy in that team. Echo's given him a little bit of a bath, but he's responded in the best possible way. He's put himself back in the conversation. Obviously, the issues with Fabio Quartararo, the arm pump issue, which, by the way, I think we've maybe been a little bit too harsh on Jack, and I've been pretty harsh on him too. The criticism of him with the 2 ninth places was a big one. People were throwing out 2 ninth places. Oh, he's only had 2 ninth places. Well, the first one, yeah, he stuffed up, right? The second one, he had arm pump. He drops to 9th that day. Now, in hindsight, with Fabio's result this week, that's quite a nice save, I think. 9th place. I mean, Fabio went from well in the lead, like a second and a half in front, to 13th when he's kicked in. Maybe we have been a bit too harsh on young Jack. Yeah, deserves his place in the top 10 here. Race wins are king when it comes to power rankings, and he's come from a long way back here because he was well out of the top 10. But sneaks in now. Got to win races. Just above him now, and he's upper place from his 10th position last week is Juan Mir. Nothing particularly exciting here, just his upper place because we've dropped Raul Fernandez out. Juan, this might be a bit generous for him because he hasn't really done much this season, but he's plugging away. He's like 17-ish points off the lead of the world title now. This is what he does. He's there to just pick up those times when your championship leader has a bad weekend like this weekend. He's there again. He'll just keep doing that now. That's him. And that pace is going to be good enough to kind of get him up there in a few races this year. So he knows what he's doing. It's not exciting at all, but it's kind of got him up to 9th because he's 4th in the World Championship. So, there you go. At number 8, down a position this week, Aleix Espargaro. Only down a position because, it's just 6th places. But he's finished 6th again. He's had a good start to the race. He was right up there at one point. He qualified well. Can't take anything away from it. It's just not very exciting. So he's down a place. Yeah, I mean, he's been excellent. And I don't know about anyone else, but if that bike is capable of that sort of stuff, I think every single time Aleix goes out there and does that, it's very valuable for Aprilia because it probably puts another little tick in Dovi's mind that he wants to be on the bike. A bit of positive reinforcement. So I don't know about anyone else. I'm just looking forward to when Dovi gets on it and we see how good Aleix has really been. But based on what we've seen, when your teammates running last all the time, I know it's only Salvadori, but when your teammates running last all the time and you're 6th, that's power. It's power ranking stuff. So he's in 8th, and he will probably remain in the top 10 if he keeps doing that. But depending on where the guys below him can sort of get up there. But another good weekend for him. In 7th, upper place, Remy Gardner. Again, not particularly good race for him. He's finished 4th. I say not particularly good. I mean, he's in the hunt for the podium until the very last lap. A pole position, and again, he's been doing a bit of a Mir type thing as well, isn't he? He just sort of turns up each week with his pace that he's going to do, and he does that pace, and sometimes that's going to have you in the hunt for the win on the last corner, and sometimes you're going to be 4th. But the point is you're never, ever out of it, and you're banking good points every week. He's definitely, I think he's nailed on now for a top 3 World Championship finish, and he's going to be in the hunt for the win come the end of the season, and that is Remy at number 7. Number 6, Maverick. I think if these performances keep up, he's down another place. If these performances keep up, he's just going to drop down 1, drop down 1, drop down 2, whatever. For the rest of the season, I can see him, if this keeps up, he won't be in the top 10 for much longer. This is pure Maverick, but you watch him turn up like at Le Mans or somewhere after that and just win a race or something and look untouchable again, but that's just what he does. But yeah, not particularly excited about Maverick's prospects at the moment, and yeah, down a place just for being boring and barely even knowing he's there. So yeah, taking his place in 5th is Sam Lowe's. Nice recovery from his incident in Portimao. Pegs back points that he needed to do on Remy. Was that second now? I think it's 3 points off the lead. So considering he had a DNF and he's still only 3 points off the lead of the World Championship, he's the guy in Moto2 at the moment. I still think he's the favourite. If he just stays on his bike, he's going to have the pace to finish there all season long. But yeah, he's up a place. Nice recovery. 3rd place. Well done to him. He's still a favourite for me, Moto2. Still the favourite. In number 4, down a place from last week as well, is Johann Zarco. Just hanging on. I could have easily, in fact, maybe should have put Lowe's ahead of him here, but it's the steady sort of decline, isn't it? They come out the blocks firing round 1 and 2. Nowhere race for him. He just didn't really show up, did he? I mean, it was just one of those things. He'll be disappointed that the factory guys did so well, because for a time there, he was the guy at Ducati for the first couple of races. Yeah, Johan is going to need to sort that out quickly, because the guy whose job he was probably gunning for has just gone and won the race. So, and looks to have sorted a few problems out. So, yeah, he's going to need to pick that up. I think, where did he finish this week? Like 8th or something? But he still kept himself 5th in the World Championship. He's still ahead of Miller in the World Championship by a good 9 points. So, not dropping him dramatically down the order, but he does drop a place because he just didn't really even realise he was there this weekend. It was one of those ones. So yeah, he's at number 4. At number 3, doing all the right things, Pecco Bagnaia. He's up another place. Won't be long if he keeps that up. He's now in the lead of the World Championship. It won't be long till he's going to win a race very soon, guys. He just needs to sort out that, he's just giving himself too much work to do in the race. I know it wasn't really, it was not really his fault that he started down in 11th in Portimao and came through for a great result. Here, gave himself a bit too much work. He didn't get off the line quite that well. Whereas Jack Rock bolted off the line. It was like a rocket. He just got an absolutely perfect launch, but just couldn't make up the ground. Miller was very precise. As I think he said in his post-race, he's never done 25 more precise laps than that in his life. So, but he still did make up ground. And I think that's what's important, is he's going to do that every week. He looks super quick. I can't see them shaking him, to be honest. Even as soon as Le Mans, we could have another race winner on our hands with Pecco, and an extension of that championship lead. So, yeah, fair play to him. He's not far off top spot now, and in the power rankings, he's obviously in top spot of the World Championship, and I can't see it slowing down. At number 2, that leaves us with down a place from last week, is Fabio Quartararo. Not completely his fault, obviously, with the arm pump. I'm a bit worried about him now for Le Mans, because it leaves him in a tough spot. He's going to his home race, where I think we all thought if he won this weekend, it then makes him favourite again for Le Mans. He's a chance to go 4 on the trot if he won in Jerez, because we know he's going to be strong in Le Mans. Your home race gives you a little bit extra, doesn't it? A bit extra pep in your step too, doesn't it? He looked in a lot of pain after the race too. I felt really bad for him, but could only save a couple of points in the end and loses the World Championship lead to Bagnaia. I'm a bit worried that they're not going to, because he's already had surgery on that arm, I think, for 4 arm pumps. So I don't know what they can do again now. Can they just re-surgery it in the time? And is it the same surgery? I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but it seems like it's the kind of thing that would be a lot trickier than if you're just getting the arm pump surgery for the first time. I don't know if they can do anything other than surgery to improve it. Maybe if you can work it, I don't know, somehow. Yeah, a little bit worried about him, but hopefully it's just a little flash in the pan kind of incident, injury type thing, and it sorts itself out for Le Mans and he can compete at the top, because it would be really disappointing not to see him competing at Le Mans. Which means number 1 is, it's Pedro Acosta, the untouchable. The untouchable Pedro Acosta. I don't know really what, I could just sit here and wax lyrical about his incredible abilities all day, but I think we all know. Alright, if you're not watching Moto3 at the moment, and usually I only watch, I understand. You watch the big boys, that's the way it is. You're watching the peak of the sport. If you want entertainment, Moto3 at the worst times is super entertaining. It's so much more entertaining when you're watching this kid, because you just know he's in his position. He started 12th or something for this race. I mean, not that bothered him, because he's won from the fucking pit lane before. You just get to a point in a race where he's sort of sitting in mid-lead group and you think, oh, is he going to be able to make that ground? Yeah, no, he's going to make that ground up. Don't worry. He's got a plan. This kid's just like, I'm going to get to the last few laps. Then I'm going to decide when I want to win the race. And then he goes and wins the race. It's unreal. Real powerful performance. This is power ranking, topping stuff. The pass, the double overtake to take first position. And he had it backing in, and oh my God. This kid is amazing. Doing what nobody else has ever done before, 4 podiums from your first 4 races. And on that, for 4 podiums, we say it like that, but it's 3 wins and a second. He's never finished lower than second as a Grand Prix rider. Number 1. He is number 1. While we're on that train of thought, let's go into our dishonourable mentions. That's the power rankings done. Let's get into our dishonourable mentions. We'll do them first this week. And the first one we're going to start with is Deniz Öncü in Moto3. Young Turkish rider. Last corner. Last corner of the race. Pedro's giving himself a bit of a gap. He's winning the race anyway. Pedro's won the race anyway. Deniz Öncü comes flying into the last corner, trying to salvage second place. He actually had a good race there. He was competing at the front, drops it, takes out Jaume Masia and Darren Binder, the 2 main contenders to Acosta's title challenge. Deniz, you can't be doing that, lad. Dishonourable mention, Deniz Öncü. More dishonourable mentions. Let's get into the MotoGP, lads. Brad Binder, 2 stacks in a weekend. Wasn't happy with his first stack, so he went and did it again. Alex Marquez, not finished first lap. Be interesting to see if Honda are looking to retain him at the end of the season, because he's been piss poor. Alex Rins. I was big on Alex Rins at the start of the season. I'm like, this guy's quick. When he's on, he's on. He's unbelievable. But he's starting to look a bit, not so much a Maverick, because Maverick finishes the races, but he's like a Maverick that when he has a bad race, it's a crash. But when he's good, he'll just go and beat Marquez at full strength. Like, it's weird. Is that such a rookie error that he went down on? He got himself wide. It looked like he was trying to get around the outside somewhere. Got himself a bit too wide and looked like he was just looking about, like, you know, he's trying to bring it back in. And just, you're out on the dirty stuff there. He's just not even concentrating. He's looking back across at, like, the field and who's sneaking underneath him while he's out wide and just sort of drops it at low speed. It was weird. Dishonourable mention. Rossi, just because he was slow again. A couple of honourable mentions, aside from the ones that we've got in our top 10. Morbidelli, obviously, he's probably 11th in the rankings at the moment. He's so close. He's looking so good on a 2-year-old chassis. Big ups to him. Takanaka, really good race again. Makes you wonder what he could have done in Portimao without the injury. 4th. I mean, he's very close to a podium there. He's finished less than a second off the podium. I like what he's doing, and when you look at where Pole is and maybe Mark, I mean, Mark obviously asterisk because of his injury, but he's still, I mean, he's battered him by about 8 seconds here. So it's more Pole though that you're looking at. And again, once again, Nakagami just showing himself as like the gritty top Honda aside from Marquez. And you know what? Pole doesn't perform all this season. Obviously, Alex is looking average. I think it kind of makes sense that they'd be looking at Naka for a Repsol ride, just to a partner, like someone who can go and put it 4th, 5th, 6th, and maybe pick up a podium if some other people have bad days. But someone who can go and put it 4th, 5th, 6th, while Marquez is challenging for the world title. I think that's like your old, was it like Toru Okawa signings for Repsol back in the day when they put like their top Japanese guy on there just to accompany your world title challenger. That would make sense from it. If he keeps this up and he's finishing top 5 or 6 every week, I mean 10th last week but with injuries, so you know, he could have been finishing around with Mark around 6th place last week if he didn't have those issues. He wasn't fighting through the pain. Super impressed. And I think Honda's in having a bit of an issue finding guys who can ride that actual bike at the moment, and we've heard Pole saying that, you know, everyone's got different setups and it's a bit weird how they're not all pulling in the same direction. But if that's the way they're going to go, and you just need guys who can wrestle the bike around and just sort it out for themselves. In Moto2, Fabio Di Gianantonio, really good ride. Absolutely nailed it, start to finish. Hopefully that kickstarts a title challenge for him. He's pretty much guaranteed a spot in MotoGP next season anyway. I think Rossini's going to bring him up wherever they end up. Got it. Bezzecchi as well, 2nd place, needed it, had to do it, got it. And that's pretty much it for this weekend, guys. I've mentioned everyone I want to mention. We've got a weekend off. We'll sneak another video in between. My battery's about to die on my camera, so I'm going to wrap it up really quickly. And thanks for watching, guys. See ya on the next one.